Erling Braut Haaland's debut against West Ham United. The eyes of all were on one man, Erling Braut Haaland, as reigning English Premier League champions Manchester City travelled to the London Stadium for what was expected to be a tricky clash with David Moyes' West Ham United for their first Premier League fixture of the 2022-23 season. Welcome back, guys. In this video, you're about to see the unplayable Erling Haaland in his debut appearance. But first, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. The whole world did a lowdown on one of football's most intriguing characters, Erling Haaland, as he showed he was the real deal after last week's disappointing performance against Liverpool in the Community Shield, where he missed from point-blank range.
Haaland! Olha a sobra! Marrez! Primeiro nesse momento aí, ó, que ele mata no peito e leva vantagem no...
And failed to smash his first silverware in Manchester City jersey. But all that was put behind him as the £51 million Norwegian powerhouse silenced his critics midway through the first half of City's first game of the season, as he scored twice on his Premier League debut for Manchester City in their 2-0 win. The Super Summer signing came into his first competitive game and never missed the beat. He frightened the West Ham defenders from the first minute with his athleticism and striker nous, and grew dominant as he took just 35 minutes to score his first Premier League goal of the season. In recent times, it's hard to think of a player who's made a bigger impact both on and off the pitch. Since bursting onto the scene as a teenager, he's smashed records, embarrassed goalkeepers, and positioned himself alongside Kylian Mbappe as the heir apparent to Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Remember, City's trip to West Ham last time produced a twist in the title race at the end of the 2021-22 season, where Jarrod Bowen's first-half double looked to have handed Liverpool a huge boost on May 15th, only for Jack Grealish's reply to launch a comeback that would have ended in victory for City without Riyad Mahrez's late penalty miss. With Erling Braut Haaland, the City side looked to have taken a completely new dimension. Haaland, who seemed to have been tailor-made for the English Premier League, displayed why on Sunday afternoon. The 22-year-old giant, who signed from Borussia Dortmund over the summer, scored to mark his arrival to the English Premier League, sending a warning to anyone who listens. In the bright sunlight, at the very presence of his dad Alfie, a former Man City player himself, in the stands. Haaland, number 9, following Gabriel Jesus' departure to Arsenal, showed why he was the hottest property in football this summer. His raw athleticism and finishing ability looked as a frightening prospect as ever. His first English Premier League goals of his career. João Cancelo, possibly the first left-back to wear the number 7 shirt and who played more like a midfielder, passed the ball into Gundogan, who turned and sent Haaland away. Haaland latched onto a through ball from Gundogan and burst through the West Ham backline and knocked the ball around Alphonse Areola, having come on to replace injured Fabianski. Haaland, in a run that many other players would have failed to reach, easily got to the ball ahead of the keeper, touching the ball around the on-rushing Areola, who was completely committed and ended up bringing down the forward. Referee Michael Oliver pointed to the spot without any hesitation. There was no question on who was going to take the penalty. With deafening whistles ringing around the stadium, Haaland coolly picked up the ball and sent Areola the wrong way, curling it a low shot along the floor and into the bottom left corner of the net with a spectacular level of confidence. Cooling down the joy of a debut superb goal, Haaland sat on the pitch in a sense of celebratory zen, his trademark yoga celebration, as City's delirious reporters at the other end of the ground were anything but calm. Haaland gave the West Ham fans the shushing treatment. The thought of adding one of the most dangerous young weapons in world football, who scored 86 goals in 89 games for Dortmund, to Pep Guardiola's already lethal attack was mouth-watering for City fans, and terrifying for the other 19 Premier League teams, as it wasn't long after the break before he stroked again. This time, the move started deep in the City's half, with Rodri picking out Kevin De Bruyne in space down the right. He then slides it between the West Ham defenders, putting it beautifully on a plate for Haaland, who kept his composure to slot it under Areola and into the back of the net for a 2-0 City lead. In the 75th minute, Cancelo managed to pick out a through ball to Gundogan, who spun away from a Soucek again to try and tee up Haaland. A loose first touch from him, Haaland threw the ball at Zuma, who had the chance to get back into his position. For Haaland, the only downside was that he could not complete his hat-trick, slapping his lap in frustration when being replaced in the 78th minute for Julian Alvarez, having sent a pair of headers wide. Aside from that, the Norwegian's first taste of English football proper was a sweet one. And while he did not drop so deep too often, the link-up play throughout was more aligned to a classical target man than any other instance during the Guardiola era. As the afternoon wore on, there were clearer glimpses of why he's so highly rated, why so many people believe he can be a transformative presence that finally brings City European glory. Haaland is far more than a lumbering presence up top looking to provide knockdowns and layoffs for on-rushing technicians. Two notable quick exchanges hinted at a significant shift in style. The first came midway through the opening half, when fed by Jack Grealish, he required only one touch to find Ilkay Gundogan at 5 o'clock, only for the German to stray offside. Then, immediately after the restart, Grealish galloped down the left and sought to play a 1-2 only for Haaland's return to be cut out. It may not have come off, but the intent spoke plenty. A hat-trick would have been the stuff of dreams, as his family watched from an away end that spent a portion of the second half taunting Roy Keane, sitting in a nearby outdoor TV studio. But a double puts him ahead of the target set by his biggest admirers among the pundit class, like Wayne Rooney. Erling Haaland, pre-match interview ahead of the game. Earlier, Sports Brief reported that Haaland has aimed a thinly veiled warning to his naysayers, as the former Borussia Dortmund marksman insists his best is yet to come. At the tender age of 22, the Norwegian forward scored a stunning 86 goals in just 86 matches across competitions for the German side before he arrived in England. Haaland, in a build-up interview with Sport Brief, fought off accusations that he's like Cristiano Ronaldo or Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He mentioned that he looks up to the accomplished strikers known for their bravado and confidence.
Now, he saw the first, he was a bit late, but he did see it.
He saw, yeah, thank good that he saw both goals, and yeah, it's a big moment for me, debut in this competition, so yeah, we have to keep going.
In an interview with Sky Sports, as reported by Manchester Evening News, Haaland opined that he will seek to let his football do the talking. Quoted as saying, "I don't need the spotlight. I love to have a joke on Instagram here and there, but other than that, I like to relax and have fun. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm a player hungry for goals, gives 100%, that wants to win every game." History says this is largely what you should expect from the 22-year-old. With Borussia Dortmund, Haaland averaged a goal every 86 minutes, 62 in 5,388, while his career average in the Champions League is 1 every 77, 19 goals in 1,463 minutes. Pep Guardiola's pre-match interview. Man City's coach, Pep Guardiola, is one happy man so long as these stats are concerned, as he never lost confidence in the young striker's ability to bring in the goals. In the build-up to the games, Pep was asked if he feels the pressure on Haaland, to which he responded, "I don't know how many goals he'll score and I don't care."
Sure. You are the guy who are going to ask me about Haaland every press conference, isn't it? Yeah?
Maybe.
Maybe? Welcome to Manchester. I don't know how many goals he's going to score and I don't care. As much as who he is and do what he has done in his young career. So we are not going to win for Erling and we are not going to lose for Erling.
As much as he does what he has done in his young career. He's quick. He's a guy who played 90 minutes last week for the first time in 5 months. He's a big figure physically, but maybe needs more time to get to conditions. If he has doubts, he'll score goals he has done every year. And yes, the big man has started the adaptation process quite well, as he's combined nicely with all of their most important creators, Kevin De Bruyne through the middle and Jack Grealish wide. We're 90 minutes into the season, but if you think Haaland is here for a joke, you might have to think again. Thanks for watching. Tell us in the comment section, how many goals do you think Haaland would score this season? Also, like and subscribe. See you next time.